Yes, I am back with a foam roller session for the first time in about 3 years. I don't know why I've left it so long. I think they are just such a fabulous piece of equipment. Even if you haven't got foam rollers and you can do these exercises over a towel, lying over them is just so lush for just straightening and stretching and getting everything loosened off through your back and shoulders. But of course the balance work we can do on these is absolutely key. If you haven't seen my how to make your own modified version of a foam roller at home, please do check out the link. I'll try and put it onto this video as well. You can't do the balance work quite so well on a made up one at home, but you can still do certainly a lot of the lying down exercises almost to perfection. So before we start, let's just check that your body is ready to go. So sitting, thinking of equal weight through your seat bones, that elastic spine, just letting everything reach up nice and tall. You're going to turn your head from side to side. One of the key things with working on a foam roller when you come to the standing part is being relaxed, particularly through your neck and shoulders. If you get very tense through your neck and shoulders working on them, then you can get headaches later on or the next day. So it's always key to make sure that everything's loose and moving really well before you start and when you're actually exercising as well. Okay, then let's loosen off through your shoulders, nice big rolls, up, back and down, just get everything on the move. Okay, then we're going to go onto your back. We're going to start off without the rollers to begin with your abdo prep, just to get everything woken up and ready to go. So you want to have your feet and knees approximately hip width apart, pelvic floor muscles onto floor 3, float your hands, reach your toes, then lift your head so that you look between your legs and take everything back down together. While you're doing this, try to make sure that your knees aren't drifting around, coming in, coming out, off to the side. Making this a nice specific exercise to your upper and mid back, so you're not imprinting, you're just using the upper and mid back. But in doing so, you're keeping your legs nice and still, so you can isolate that movement. If your neck is uncomfortable, you can just do the float and reach bit. It's not quite such an intense exercise, but you still use your tummy muscles nicely. And don't forget about those pelvic floor muscles, keep them up onto floor 3. We're going to do one last one. Okay, then I'd like you to get your roller, or if you're doing a towel version, grab your probably 2 rolled up towels, and you want to have them end to end. Now if you are using foam rollers like these, I have yet to meet anybody who is too tall to fit their head to their pelvis, the bottom of their pelvis, onto one of these 2 paired up. So if you're using one long one, it should be the same. I've yet to meet anyone too tall for one of those either. Okay, so you want to have your head top end, pelvis down the bottom end, and to begin with, just allow everything to relax and stretch. Take a moment to take a couple of nice deep breaths and really feel that your spine is just lightly lying along the top of your roller. This shouldn't be really painful. If it is, this is not the session for you, or pause, remove your rollers and go and find a towel to lie on instead. I'd like you then to make sure your feet are nicely close to your bottom, because we're going to start off with your shoulder bridge. So you're going to bring your pelvic floor up onto floor 3, imprint onto the roller, and then you're peeling up. Your end point is going to be a little bit different if you're doing this on the floor, because your feet are lower than your pelvis. But still watch when you get to that top point that you're not attempting to overarch. Whilst there's no harm in going into that position, particularly when it comes to riding and that movement, that controlled movement that you want to have in the saddle, this isn't necessarily a position that's particularly helpful. So really work on trying to control and be precise about where you place your body. I'd also like you to think about what you feel through your back as you're peeling up and laying back down again. Not so easy if you're on a towel, because the towel will flatten a little bit, but really easy if you're on a foam roller. You want to make sure that your vertebrae are lining up with the top of the roller all the way up, and all the way back down, particularly on the way back down, so make sure you're not lying yourself back down off to one side. I'm exaggerating so you can see, but hopefully you get the idea. And obviously if you've got a scoliosis, that's not going to happen. If you've got a scoliosis, you're probably not on one of these and you've gone for the towel option. Let's do one more. Okay, this time you're going to stay at the top though, and see if you can do a few of those little hip dips, just the same as you would on the floor. Knees are staying a nice equal distance apart, making sure that you lower one side of your pelvis, but the other side stays still. It's not that you lower one side and lift through the other. We're looking for that precision of movement again. And obviously it's a little bit harder than when you're on the floor, because you've only got your feet and your upper back and the back of your head to balance on. One more each way, and then bring yourselves back down, imprinting to neutral. Okay, bring your feet a little bit further away. We're going to have a go at doing the scissors exercise. So I suggest hands onto your headlights, and because your feet are lower than your pelvis, those ribs sinking towards your pelvis are really key for this one. What we don't want is ribs coming up here, so that every time you lower your foot, you're doing this. I'm exaggerating again for display. You want to be keeping this bit nice and still, so whatever your leg is up to, this bit isn't moving. So hands onto your headlights, pelvic floor onto floor 3, one leg up to tabletop, back down, and the other leg up and back down. You can of course go from tabletop and do the reverse option. It is significantly harder on the roller. Really watch those ribs, and you've got to really work at keeping your breathing going. I'd like to say this is a wine glass exercise, but I think on the roller that's possibly a little bit mean. So just go with trying to keep your balance as best as you can. If you're doing the floor version, have a go without your elbows. You can have a go if you're doing a tabletop version, provided you don't become completely rigid. Keep checking with those tummy position, a rib position rather, make sure your ribs and tummy aren't creeping upwards. Last one. Okay, bring your feet back down. We're going to move on to your hip twist. Exactly the same starting position, and again, rib position, headlights position, really key. You're going to roll one knee out and back up, then roll the other knee out and back up. This is harder still on the roll, although it's a simple exercise, because the weight of your leg is going to pull you off to the side. So you've got to work hard now at keeping your body in the middle. You can do the halfway house version, so one leg up to tabletop, roll out, and so on, or you can go full hip twist. However, if you are going the full hardcore tabletop version, make the movement small. Again, the weight of your leg is just going to drag you off to the side, that you will reach a point of no return. Again, rib position, really, really key. So you stay nice and stable through the middle. Feel through your headlights, make sure you're not rolling off to the side. Again, with this one, if you're doing the floor version, by all means give it a go without the elbows. It is, even on a flat surface, I find almost impossible to do the tabletop version without the arms, and you just end up hardly doing anything at all, just going completely rigid. So probably not actually much to be gained. Last one, feet down one at a time. Okay, then we're going to have a go at doing your hundreds. Hands onto the floor beside you. Again, think rib position down towards your pelvis, so this isn't happening. Pelvic floor onto floor 3. You're going to pat those little puddles of water by your sides. Again, of course, you can go from tabletop, significantly harder, but give it a go if you possibly can. You're looking to keep that neutral position, pelvic floor staying onto floor 3, and whatever you do, keep breathing. Remember to move from your shoulders, not from your wrists or your fingers. Pelvic floor, ribs, breathing. It's tricky, but it's worth it. Okay, one at a time, bring your feet back down if they were up in tabletop. Then bring your hands up so they're pointing up to the ceiling. Then keeping your elbows straight but soft, you're going to reach up and pull down. So your fingertips do the reach up, your shoulder blades do the pull down. They almost hug your roller or towel. You're doing both arms together, and it's a little hard because you can't exactly see what your hands are up to, but try to make sure that both arms move together the whole way through. So you're looking to really lengthen around the back of your shoulders. This is such a useful exercise for improving the control of your contact. And yes, a lot of the movement through our arms comes through our elbows, but a lot of it also comes through the movement of the shoulder blades around the back of the rib cage, and then the control of those muscles as well. Okay, bring your arms back down, and as delicately as possible, bring yourselves off your rollers. And we're going to take one roller, pop it out the way, and have the other one rocker side down and flat side up. And then you're going to stand on your roller. Now, if you are on a towel, this won't be too difficult. If you are new to the whole concept of doing any foam roller exercises, I suggest you park up next to a wall. Have a wall beside you, not behind you or in front of you, but beside you, so you can just have one finger on the side. Okay, then you want to be focusing on relaxation. Remember what I said at the beginning, it's very important to stay relaxed through your neck and shoulders when you're doing this sort of exercise. So relaxed neck and shoulders, relaxed arms, make sure your knees are soft, and then see if you can, as I fall off backwards, see if you can do some little squats. Now obviously I'm on the lawn, it's not particularly flat, it's a bit lumpy. If you're doing this on a nice flat surface, you should be pretty okay. If you are holding onto the wall, just try and have one or two fingers. You don't need to make this movement too big. It's more just about being able to control yourself, keep your balance whilst you're on the move. Okay, then I'd like you to see if you can pop your feet back so your toes are in the middle of your roller, your heels are sticking off the back, and then see if you can go up and down. So just doing some nice simple heel lifts. Now in some ways this is easier than on the floor because the shape of the rocker and the movement of the rocker means that the rocker helps you do some of the movement. But of course you're actually doing a bigger movement because your heels are dropping below your toes and the rocker is mobile, so it makes it harder for you to balance. But it's a really, really good one. When you think about your foot in the stirrup isn't a stable object. So practicing being able to push down through your toes using your calf muscles on an unstable object, really useful. Okay, then feet back into that nice middle position, soft knees, bring your arms up in front. I'm just going to practice turning your arms out to the side and bringing them up and out and down. And we're going into reverse, so up in front, out to the side, in and forwards. So just complete these kind of circuits, if you like, keeping relaxed through your neck and shoulders as you go. I certainly find doing the arm movements actually makes the whole process so much easier. Let's do one more each way. Okay, then just relax into that standing position, knees soft, just allowing your body to move. Don't fear that movement. Just allow yourself to relax into that position, feeling your ankles move, your toes move, your knees move. Just absorb that movement. It's what you do on the horse all the time. Okay, then let's step off. Pop that one to the side as well. Have a little walk on the spot, just let everything relax off. I've kept that standing part quite brief because if you are new to this or don't do this very often, you don't want to overdo it, but it's a really useful one. If you've got one of those, try and do it once a week, even if it's just for 2 minutes, it makes such a difference. Okay, onto one leg. Now you should find standing on one leg on a hard surface beyond easy now. If you normally find it hard, it should be really easy now. And again, just focus on that relaxation through your upper body. Making sure you can still breathe. Then we'll stop. Stop, swap onto the other leg. Swap and stand. That's the mixture of those two. And again, relax through the upper body. Focus on the breathing. And then bring your feet both back onto the floor. Keep your knees soft. Bring your arms up above your head. Reach up with one arm for a nice big breath in. Back down, and then reach out with the other arm, big breath in and back down, keeping your knees really soft as you do each reach. In turn, you want to be nice and elastic, lengthen out so you're not holding any tension from doing those exercises. And then bring your arms back down by your side. Make sure you've got that feeling of equal weight in your feet. Elastic spine, relaxed arms and shoulders, and a floating head. And we will leave it there. So well done if that was your first time giving it a go. Whatever you're doing, I think trying to incorporate this sort of balance and stability work is really worth doing. You just don't want to be overdoing it. So thank you very much for joining. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. And otherwise, look after yourselves, and I'll see you very soon.